As cool as these early stormtroopers are in appearance, I'm sure we've all been wondering when we'll finally see the full transformation into the true elite soldiers of the Empire, and turns out, based off of some recent canon books, we're very likely to see some bucketheads by the end of this season. Today, I'll go over the history of how the TK troopers started and stopped being used, as well as the special attachments which make regular stormtrooper armor better, by looking through all of our lore, canon, and expanded universe, which has been conveniently updated with a certain new project that just came out. And reading from Wikipedia, the continued use of cloned soldiers was called into question by Governor Wilhuff Tarkin and Vice Admiral Edmund Rampart, two Imperial officers who believed that a conscription-based force of non-cloned troopers was a cost-effective alternative to the expensive Kaminoan cloning operation. Tarkin would visit Kamino shortly after the conclusion of Order 66 to discuss the future of the clone trooper program with Prime Minister Lama Su, who insisted on the continued production of clone troopers, citing the former Republic's contract, which stipulated the further creation of clones. Tarkin dismissed the contract as it had been created between Kamino and the Republic, which no longer existed. Though the two agreed that the Empire would need more soldiers to maintain order, Tarkin believed that a conscription force of people that were volunteered could achieve this objective at half the cost, which does seem like a good idea at first until we start to think about these skills that these great developed warriors had, and if this really was a good move from Tarkin here. Working in conjunction with Vice Admiral Rampart to form Project War Mantle, Tarkin would sanction the formation of a small team of elite squad troopers, 4 non-clone volunteers that had been recruited from across the galaxy. The troopers were placed under the command of CT-9904 Crosshair, a clone commando and sharpshooter that had remained loyal to the Empire after his squad, Clone Force 99, had defected. Ramparts believed that these recruited troopers could be trained to be just as effective as clone troopers if given proper instruction by experienced clones. The unit's first mission was to wipe out Saw Gerrera's fighters on the planet Onderon, the same mission that Clone Force 99 had refused to carry out. The squad of troopers would return to Kamino after wiping out Gerrera's fighters and the civilians under their protection, though Trooper ES-01 was executed by Crosshair after refusing to execute unarmed prisoners. Tarkin was impressed with the performance of the squad and put Vice Admiral Rampart in charge of the continuation of Project War Mantle. Several months after the destruction of Kamino, the number of the TK troopers had grown substantially to the point of being able to be deployed in full units. However, the majority of the Imperial military was still composed of clones, and TK troopers were often deployed in conjunction with clone troopers. When a separatist holdout on the planet Death 6 refused to submit to Imperial authority, a squad of clone stormtroopers under the command of Cody were deployed to the planet to quash out the separatists. After the separatist stronghold had been cleared by the clones, an occupation force deployed consisting entirely of TK troopers on the planet. So, here is what we know about stormtroopers themselves as we move into the more standardized ones that we know and love versus these TK troopers that I've been going over so far in the show. In the days following the end of the Clone Wars, Vice Admiral Edmund Rampart sanctioned the creation of an elite squad of non-clone human soldiers led by the former Clone Force 99 marksman CT-9904 Crosshair. Rampart envisioned enlisting human soldiers and having them train under skilled clones would be the best way to generate the loyal soldiers without the cloning program. The squad included 4 highly skilled recruits enlisted to be the first wave of such soldiers. The individuals that we mentioned earlier when we were talking about the TK troopers, they traded in their names for numbers, becoming ES-01, ES-02, ES-03, and ES-04, and then they undertook early missions to eliminate insurgents throughout the galaxy, in particular pursuing the now rogue Clone Force 99, Crosshair's old squad mates, with Crosshair of course being their team leader. The squad's success during their missions proved the potential of an enlisted army to Tarkin, who allowed Ramparts to continue secretly enlisting more non-clone recruits under Project War Mantle. Though Tarkin supported the project, he believed that clone troopers would continue to remain essential until the new army had been fully formed. Following the proclamation of the New Order, the former Republic's clone troopers became the first generation of Imperial Stormtroopers. The clone Stormtroopers continued using their Phase 2 clone armor while enforcing the rule of the new regime, while an early Stormtrooper armor of a different design was worn by the TK troopers, enlisted Stormtroopers who were trained under the early months of the Age of the Empire. Eventually, a standard armor design for Stormtroopers was settled upon, with their armor becoming a symbol of the Imperial era. Now, we just went over the fact that it says eventually a standard armor design for Stormtroopers was settled upon, which leads me to believe that it's even possible that we might see even more variations of the TK Trooper before getting to the final Stormtrooper design. In the official canon books like Ahsoka, Stormtroopers with normal armor start showing up a year after Revenge of the Sith, so it is very likely with Bad Batch Season 2 taking place months after Empire Day, it's safe to say this season also has a significant time jump, meaning that unless there's a retcon, we'll be seeing the classic Stormtrooper armor by the end of this season at least, and considering this is the final season, well, let's hope that is true. Animation style in the Clone Wars finale, which means that they already have the assets here, and I'm sure they'd be down to do that. And people have been saying it's cool because in Rebels, like really the only Filoni version of the Stormtroopers we've ever seen was in Rebels, and some people really hate the animation style there. Eye holes we see later on, which slowly gets better and better up until the Stormtrooper, the Imperial Stormtrooper that is. But another thing is there are little pieces here and there, like the way the armor is designed, where TK Troopers was more based off of the Kaminoan designs, which are kind of more ancient when in comparison to the Imperial modifications as far as the way the plastoid is set up on there. And in my opinion, the most interesting one is the sniper knee plate, which we see on Stormtroopers, which was not there for clone troopers and TK troopers, but is something, if you ever wondered why they have different knee plates, it's because of that. They can kneel down and take a sniper position, and that is really cool little detail right there. But anyway, that's it for this Bad Batch video. This is 2 of 3, maybe 1 of 3. I don't know how I'm going to release these, but we're doing a few of these in the next few weeks or so make sure you stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for the 1 hour of Darth Maul video, and I also post multiple shorts every week, always on Saturday. Make sure to subscribe for some live streams here and there if I can. Also, we got merch, which will soon be going out of stock as we're going to do a limited time thing, so if you want the Blue Bounty Hunter merch, it's kind of now or never if you want to get it, but yeah, see ya.